I
But yeah,
could actually see Project Zomboid with a couple of friends on a closed server as being interesting in a sort of division of labor. Like the most fun
yeah,
I had was when I lucked out with a burglar character, started in an empty police precinct with a
yeah.
fully functional van outside. And of course, I'm a burglar. I can hotwire the thing. And suddenly I have a not a pickup truck, I have a van.
Yeah.
So I just went to a warehouse, a supermarket, and a bookstore, emptied them all out, and drove everything over to a base. And that's me. I'm
Woohoo!
done. Of course, I immediately got too cocky, turned a corner, and was chomped.
Oh, that's one
Dead.
of the things though with it being multiplayer. If you because of the way that sound tracks lots around, you can have someone fire a gun and run off, and it just clears the area for someone else or a group of people to raid.
I mean, honestly, just like getting a couple of cars because you can tow cars now, apparently.
Oh, I hate to think how many back in the day, how many hours I've got in Oblivion. I know the save screen used to tell me how many hours that save was. There was a lot
Yeah.
of 80+ hour saves there.
Um, I could see like with a small group of people, it could be interesting,
Mm.
but yeah, that the onboarding is harsh, and the UI actually the UI reminds me a lot of Space Station 13. It's
Hmm.
not similar in layout, but in terms of nobody else does it like this. I can see why it makes sense in this game, but it's not intuitive. I have to learn this from scratch.
Yeah.
I could not understand why there's a separate window that pops up depending on what I'm near for inventory. My last game, I went and found a video store. They had a bunch of educational videos. I had a brilliant plan. I was going to just sit by the TV for 3 days and learn everything. I seem to have placed all of those videos into a random container somewhere in the world by mistake. I don't know where they are, but.
Yep, there is a button to move everything from one to another.
And you'll press it by mistake, just randomly. Or you'll be in the middle of combat, you'll panic, and you'll put your weapon into a zombie on the floor.
I've not I've not experienced that. Yes. Yeah, it was a very weird game. I played before version 41 or 0.41, whatever it is. There was a mechanic where if you timed it well, it was almost like a little mini game. If you timed it well, you could one shot a zombie. And that's probably one of the best moments I had in the game in terms of its revision history, because with a kitchen knife I was able to survive for quite some time.
Mhm.
But then after the update, I don't think that's an option anymore. But maybe it is. I've not played it in depth for a while. I have been playing. What have I been playing recently? The Last of Us 2. I'm playing it through at the
You're
moment.
always playing The Last of Us 2.
Well, I'm playing it through on Grounded Plus, which is like,
You're
I
not
don't know.
allowed out. You're grounded.
Yes, it's on its most difficult level. It's very interesting because it's interesting looking at the game mechanics and how they implemented the most difficult settings. So you can't play Grounded Plus until you've at least gone through the game once. Plus just means in this case that you get all of the upgrades you had previously, so you don't have
Mhm.
to skill up your character again. And it's also slightly harder than the Grounded setting. But as you go through the game, or as I've gone through the game, I've realized that there are certain things that they've kind of coded in. So you can always dodge, but you might not be able to dodge
Right.
fast enough if there are too many people on top of you at once. The most frustrating parts of the game, for me, have always been the ones where you've got no choice. You are now in a fight.
Yeah.
It's just one of those panic moments. And every time I've had to replay like a section more than like a couple of times because I make a mistake when sneaking around, it's just absolute mayhem. And it can take me several to tens to it hasn't taken me hundreds, but it's taken several tens of times through to try and complete this really, really difficult section. But it's one of those sections where you're just in a fight.
Yep.
And so you kind of it takes that long because you have to learn some patterns. And so I don't know how the speedrunners do it on those settings. It's just
I
watching
think
them.
they're nuts.
Oh, there are other things, and I didn't realize this, that if you manage to sneak kill a certain area, then you don't get a load of extra enemies. So I was like, how does this work? How does this work? And I actually went online and had a look at a YouTube tutorial and was like, right, how's this expert doing this section? I was like, why aren't they getting these extra zombies? It took a while for me to realize that they weren't getting this extra wave of enemies because they did something different beforehand. I'm like, oh, and I couldn't rewind back.
Yeah.
There wasn't a go back any further, so I was a bit gutted with that. It took even longer to do. But yeah, it was also interesting having a look at how they do some of the animations. So some of the animations are locked animations. You can't do anything until the animation is over. And obviously that makes sense from a visual style. But
Well,
I would quite like to let go of the person I'm.
I know that's a mechanic that's used a lot in competitive fighting games like Street Fighter
Mm,
tournaments, because if you know which animations are locked, you can actually use that to your advantage.
yeah. Yeah, and being animation locked is actually, at this point, I actually want to cancel what I'm doing, and I would just sprint out of the way because I've managed to get someone in, and I'm doing a really slow headlock, and I'm like, the moment that the animation stops playing, I'm dead. I know that because you can see just off screen the big zombie that wants to eat your face is like here. Yeah, just hang on a minute, the animation's playing.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, it's interesting how some games that doesn't impact. There are a lot of sort of fighting games, more action-oriented games, where if you just press dodge, it cancels whatever you're doing and moves your character out of the way. More arcadey, I suppose, in its style.
I guess if you're going to be able to cancel pre-rendered animations, you kind of have to use, like, you can't. You'd have to use a pretty advanced bone system and tween between the
Hmm.
things, because you need to be able to cancel wherever you are right now and go to the dodge. We are at the hour, so I
Woohoo!
think we should ask if people have any questions, concerns, comments, interpretive dances, jingles, or poems about the sea.
Hold that thought. Yeah.
You're going to go to ChatGPT and ask for a poem about the sea, aren't you?
No.
I must go down to the sea again, the lonely sea and sky. I left my pants and socks down there, and I wonder if they're dry. So yeah. Meanwhile, Rock Paper Toucan is out, as is God of War Everyone. Although God of Everyone currently is only Rock Paper Toucan, but we are adding more stuff to it.
Yeah.
We are getting ready to do the procedural dungeon part of the action RPG. Mikey is about to do snakes in a blender. Blender is on a plane. Blender Python course.
Yep.
And yeah, I'm a little out of it. It's been a long couple of days. Oh, yeah. Okay, there is a bonus video in Rock Paper Toucan called Yan versus Dog. Mikey, would you like to play the Yan versus Dog video?
It would take me a few seconds to get there, but yes,
Yeah.
I can do that. And there's my poem about the sea.
That's not your poem. That's ChatGPT's poem.
Same difference.
No, you did not make that.
Okay, okay. Let's
You
just
got it?
yep.
I'm going to mute myself. Remember to stop me echoing afterwards.
Bear with me. I've got to go back over to OBS.
Brr.
Let your bear. Okay.
That's frankly.
Right. Jan will now echo until further notice. Aha. Full screen. Da-da-da.
That feels like a good place to end this video. So that feels like. And that. Being trolled by this dog. And that feels like a good place to end this video. Excellent work, and I'll see you in the next one.
Please. There we go.
Did you
Nailed
de-echo
it.
me?
No, not yet. Now I have.
Good. So that's Yan versus Dog. That's your bonus
That's hilarious.
content.
That's hilarious. That is.
So yeah, that feels like a decent place to end this stream.
Perfect. Woo! We made it. Woof.
So
Okay. No, no,
yeah.
go through it. Thank you everybody for joining us this evening. And we saw you. And we'll see you guys. That's
Thank
really,
you for joining us, everyone.
really
Hope
is
you've had a
distracting.
isn't it?
Woof.
Thank you for joining us, everybody. I hope you've had a lovely time, and we will see you in the next stream.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Press it.
I'm working on it.
Press it. Press it.
I'm doing it.
Press it.